Get ready to listen to the greatest heavy metal podcast of all time. Heavy Metal War Stories with your host, Stevie Peavy.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Stevie Peavy. Everyone's favorite guy, back in another episode of Heavy Metal War Story. God, do I say the same thing every fucking time or what? Oh, wow, do we have a great show for you today. Before we get to that, though, I want to just say thanks to everybody for listening. I love checking out my map and seeing people in, Middle East and Scandinavia and near the Yukon in Canada and, everybody in America and Europe and Australia and Taiwan, other parts of Asia. It's awesome everyone's listening. So thanks again for listening. If you want to email the show, please do. dsdgods@gmail.com. You can find me at Facebook, Stevie Peavy, and heavymetalwarstories.com. Tell your friends, why not? If they like metal, they should be listening to this too. Anyway, been drinking a few beers in preparation for my next guest, just because it seems like the thing to do. I've had a couple cool guests on, but this guy is going to blow your mind with some nasty, nasty stuff. I'll get to him in a bit, but I'm a little punchy today. A little bit punchy because I spent the weekend. I jetted up to Montecito, California, to play a private party at this fucking mansion that would have made probably puts Oprah's house to shame. I mean, this is on the top of the highest hill in Santa Barbara, and rocked out a little bit for the Santa Barbara hoi polloi. They don't rock out that hard, so we just took their smattering of applause with a smile and picked up our obscenely large check. But so that was Saturday. No, that was Friday. Saturday, what happened? I saw a friend's band play. I was just hanging out at the Roxy and the Rainbow, and there's these couple go-go dancers at the Whiskey, and they wanted me to come down. They put me on the list to watch them shake it. So I said, all right. So as long as they put my friends on the list, we'd come down and check it out. So we go down there, say, hey, what's up? Stevie Peavy plus 3 guest list, courtesy of the Go-Go Girls. And the chick at the door looks fairly unimpressed and says, yeah, you're not on the list. And I was like, certainly there's some mistake. Check it again. And she's like, no, that list is full. So, my friends are like, fuck that. We're not, the lady offered us the $10 discount list for the whiskey. So we said, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. So by the time actually I wasn't driving, but by the time they chauffeured me halfway home, and because I wasn't driving, I got a little bit lit. But by the time they chauffeured me halfway home, the Go-Go Girls had been like, no, you're on the list, come back. But now it was too late. So I said, tell you what, why don't you come over here after you're done dancing? They said, okay. So they came over, or they didn't come over, they came right to the street and parked, and then they might have had a little bit to drink too. So you got these two 23-year-old go-go ladies in a car screaming at their top of the lungs through the window with their 12-pack of Miller Lite. Where's your house? I don't know what it was, but they said, who's at this party? And I said, what are you talking about? My friends dropped me off. There is no party. I mean, unless you count just Stevie Peavy as a party, and I do. So the blonde one says, well, we're not coming in. I'm not coming in. That's creepy. I'm not coming into your one-man party. But the brunette one wanted to come in, and the blonde one wouldn't. But she gave me a few of her Miller Lights through the window, and they were yelling and screaming. And even though I was pretty drunk, it's my neighborhood. And it's not the fancy place I lived in with my dad, but it's still pretty nice. So I was like, fine, leave. So I closed the door, cracked a Miller Lite, and started chopping up the last podcast that I did, when all of a sudden cell phone goes off. And the blonde one again was like, all right, we're coming in. So the blonde and the brunette come in, and they say, this is boring. Where's your music? So I point them to the iTunes. They both bend over my table, and they're still in their like total hooker, fishnet, big boots, 6-inch eyelashes, tons of makeup, go-go outfits, messing on my computer with my iTunes with their asses kind of wiggling. And so, fuck, I'm like just staring at it, kind of just playing it cool, but they start kind of whispering and talking to each other because they're kind of face to face. And all of a sudden, I'm like, well, all right. So go over there, spank them both a little bit, kind of, whatever. Now I'm like ishing myself out just telling the story to all my listeners all over the world, but seemed like the right thing to do at the time. Actually, it was amazing. Anyway, the brunette, I guess, who started taking a little bit of shine to me over the last couple of weeks, I think she got a little weirded out because she and her BFF were both like side by side and all that. So she flips out and decides to leave, and it just became a whole thing. I mean, the one who's still here doesn't have any keys and can't leave, and I'm keeping my guest on hold the entire time. I'll finish this if anybody gives a shit later. But let me introduce you to my new guest. This guest and I'm about to say we played a lot of shows together, and I usually say that about most of the guests I've had on here. And actually, it's not true. I don't know if we've ever played a show together, but I've seen him play a lot of times. And this guy's a bad motherfucker. In fact, he's such a bad motherfucker that his band's name is the Bad Motherfuckers. Lightnin Woodcock and the Bad Motherfuckers. Now, Lightnin, oh my God. Lightnin is a bad boy. I mean, every song he has is about naughty, disgusting sexual stuff. So, Lightnin, I mean, drinking and gambling destroyed his health, but he's here today on Heavy Metal War Stories. So we're going to talk to him, and you'll get the whole down low on the Lightnin Woodcock and the Bad Motherfuckers world. Lightnin, how are you?
I got to tell you, Stevie, we're going to get into some more stories. I just got home from fucking 24-hour fuck fest. If I'm lying, I'm dying. It was awesome, dude. I blew five wads in the last 5 hours, or in the last 24 hours.
Wow.
So I'm trying to replenish with a little bit of dope and coffee.
Right.
So how you doing, motherfucker?
I am doing well. In fact, while you were in the green room, I was regaling the audience with my weekend, which, I mean, really pales in comparison to the average Lightnin weekend, I'm sure. But, when this thing goes live, you'll hear about it. There was a couple, like, go-go girls, strippers and stuff. But enough
nice.
Enough about yes, it was nice, actually. But I asked Lightnin, I said, who do you want to talk about? You know the format of Heavy Metal War Stories. First thing we do is we go over a legendary heavy metal band, like when they kicked ass, when they sucked, if they sucked. And then we get into the guest in question and what kind of crazy shit they've seen on the road. So Lightnin said, that sounds good, and he decided to pick Bon Scott era AC/DC, because really, can you do AC/DC in one episode? I don't think so.
I don't think so either, goddammit. It's hard to do Bon Scott years in one episode, I think, but we'll do our best.
Yeah, exactly. And I know you're a huge AC/DC fan because Lightnin has a reputation for being kind of a traveling bluesman, but he's got one foot steeped heavily in the hard rock world. I've seen his band do an entire set of AC/DC, and Have a Drink on Me is always a staple of your live set, or often is.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, man, if it weren't for AC/DC, Lightnin probably wouldn't even be playing music today. I mean, that's the whole reason Lightnin got started was I was a fucking little squirt at a show at the Omni in Atlanta back in 1981.
Right.
And that changed Lightnin's life. Unfortunately, I didn't get in on the ground floor and see AC/DC with Bon Scott. That would be a dream come true in retrospect. But I did manage to see For Those About to Rock tour.
Wow.
That was like I said, it was life changing. Just made me decide that's what I want to be. I want to be that motherfucker up on that stage performing for a gazillion people.
And I assume you're talking about Angus. Is that motherfucker?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he was the motherfucker that inspired me for sure.
Nice.
I mean, the whole band obviously is an entity that is. I have to say they're pretty much it's like a deity that Lightnin will get down. As a matter of fact, I've got a little altar here in my place. It's got all kinds of satanic and voodoo guys on it. But Angus Young is right up there next to all of them. The man's a god as far as Lightnin is concerned.
Right. But Angus, I think Angus has always been Angus throughout the entire career. But AC/DC, for all the lip service, and this is just my personal opinion, for all the lip service that people say, oh, they've done the same album perfectly 25 times or however many they have. They really stylistically changed when Brian Johnson came in. I mean, there was like that naughty factor with the Bon Scott, like that, just that bad boy with the sexual swagger and all that. And I mean, they did a lot of great stuff without him, but that kind of really defined the Bon era. You have to agree, I'm sure.
Oh, by all means, I definitely agree. And it's also that swagger and that swankiness and that filthiness, at least the implied filthiness, that I also find to be particularly inspiring. I got to say, if you take a look at a sheet of lyrics by AC/DC, you read them and it looks like stupid gibberish on a page. It's just ridiculous. Like, oh my God, this is some of the dumbest shit I ever read in my life. But you put it in the context of these amazing songs, and it's absolute rock and roll perfection. And I don't think that there's a single note or word or anything that's out of place.
Right.
When you get down into going through their catalog from 74 Jailbreak up on through Back in Black, which Lightnin does consider to be the last Bon Scott album, but we'll get into that later.
Right. Well, that's an interesting point you bring up, because I'd accept the only time I can think of that they swore, and you might even be a huger AC/DC fan than I am, but I know they said, "Get your fucking jumbo jet off my airstrip" or something in somewhere.
Indeed, they did.
Yes, on side 2 of Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap somewhere, but that might be the only swear I can think of. But even without
right out the chute with the first album, you go to High Voltage,
right,
and all the other shit that they teach the kids in school. You can figure. I don't know what year that came out. It was early though, maybe 75.
Right.
That's pretty explicit language for a song of its time.
Right, but without actually using fuck or stuff, they most of those songs are about as dirty as you could ever get, and not actually have any like FCC banned words, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. And they pushed it too with "She's Got Balls" on the first record as well.
I think the first record might be their naughtiest record of all. I mean, you have the "She's Got Balls" song. You've got that "Little Lover" with the whole "Forgive me if I notice a wet spot on your seat" and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the whole record. I mean, that is just a naughty record right there.
Oh, sure as hell it is. Sure, you look at the back cover and all the implications on the letters in the back. It's definitely one sleazy motherfucking record for its time, especially.
Yeah, and I don't think I gave it credit when I first got it. I was kind of like, I bought it kind of almost out of obligation because AC/DC were such gods, and I kind of felt like, it's their first record. They probably didn't know what they were doing. TNT's good, but I was a little kid. But it really took. I remember a couple years ago when things weren't going that well for me. I was living in the mansion. I had the whole high life. And then, I got thrown out and I was on square one. I was painting houses, and I was painting this house. And I had the, it might have been TNT. I think I had the Australian import, not High Voltage, but it's pretty much the same thing. And I was just listening to that while I was painting these insides of these houses, and just like, fuck, this is some great shit. That might be my favorite. Maybe that or Dirty Deeds. I really like those early ones.
They're both really spectacular records, especially considering how young they were at that time. A lot of people don't consider Angus Young's guitar playing to be that sophisticated. I'm not one of those people. I think from right out the chute, even from 74 Jailbreak, the man had some amazing licks that were rooted deeply in the blues, and he could play fast as hell.
Right.
But without losing that authenticity of the blues. The bluesy aspect that he had, and I think that's right at the very core, along with the riffs and the dirty lyrics of what makes AC/DC so great. And goddamn it, I'm going to come out and say it: the drumming that people put down to say it's easy, that they say that it's basic, that shit is hard to do. Goddamn it, I challenge most drummers out there that can do fancy ass shit,
right,
just to jam one of those sticks up his fucking ass and play like Phil Rudd. It ain't as easy as it looks, I'll tell you. And neither are the riffs. As simple as they come across on the records, there's definitely that simplicity is deceptive. It's not simple shit at all.
I'm going to wholeheartedly agree with that, because I've jammed out some AC/DC, like even like TNT or something. Someone's like, someone just starts starting it off, and you start playing it. and just, you're playing it fine. You're playing it fine for a cover band at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday, or at least, I mean, when I say you are, I mean I am. But I'm just playing it, and I'm self-aware enough to know that I'm like, yeah, this is not the way that AC/DC have it, like, in the groove, in the pocket. And I'm not going to put all the blame on myself. It could be that the drummer doesn't have that Phil Rudd swing, but I will take some of the blame that I haven't, like, really delved into that whole Angus and Malcolm kind of style of just being in the pocket and get that going.
Oh yeah, that togetherness that quite possibly only brothers can achieve, or at least two motherfuckers that spend a lot of time together. Those guys really, if it weren't for the thickness of the sound, you would think it was one guitar player when they're doing the rhythm parts and the verses and the choruses. Those guys that they really do lock in together. The bass lines, as simple as they are, I mean they're solid as shit. It comes right down to the strength of that rhythm section, the drums and the bass that I say are entirely underrated. Nobody gives Cliff Williams or Phil Rudd the respect that Lightnin believes they deserve. God damn it.
Yeah, well, people just get into the flash. They see Angus running around. He had the schoolboy thing, and I mean, I'm not saying that wasn't great, but you just got these sweaty oaks in the back that just stand in one place, and most people don't listen with their ears. They kind of listen with their eyes, and they kind of got the gist. But I think you're right. I think Cliff Williams, Phil Rudd, fucking badasses. But I have a question for you, because I'm going to say my critique is that Bon Scott era is the era, and there's some good Brian tunes, but I'm a Bon Scott guy. But let me tell you, I think the best Bond stuff is the really early stuff. And I know a lot of cool guys want to be cool and say they love Power Age the best because not only does there killer songs on there, but there's no hit to like distract you. But I'm going to say the first album and Dirty Deeds are my favorite. And then those other ones, awesome as they are, not quite as good. Your thoughts?
Well, I got to say, man, Let There Be Rock is an album that stands out in Lightnin's ears. When I listen to that motherfucking thing to this day, I think it's perfectly timeless.
Yeah.
And some of this, like a whole lot of Rosie, the title track, Let There Be Rock, Bad Boy Boogie, all of those songs. Well, when we do AC/DC sets, those songs are right there in the set. Those are some of Lightnin's favorites. But I mean, I can't disagree with you. As we stated earlier, I'm still to this day, fucking 28 years later, I hear those records, the early ones. I'm really impressed by how well they got it down as young as they were.
Yeah.
So I don't completely disagree with you, but for me, I think that the album that sums up the whole Bon Scott era is If You Want Blood, You've Got It. That was actually the first album that Lightnin bought after I saw them with Brian Johnson back in 1981.
Interesting.
I went and got If You Want Blood, You've Got It, just simply based on the
cover.
Of that album cover.
Yes, I did the exact same thing. But go ahead.
Yeah.
I want to hear about how that record was.
I'm going to say that record has a lot of the best songs, and I'm not just talking the ones that are perceived to be hits nowadays, because AC/DC really didn't even have hits back then. We know this. They weren't a radio band, but they were somehow they did manage to break through. And when you hear that album in its entirety, it is, I think, a great starting point for any young listeners that want to get into the Bon Scott era. You're going to find all the great songs, plus the charisma that the man exuded, come through, not just in his delivery on the songs, but a little bit of stage banner in between. And you look at like the version of the Jack that is on that record.
Oh, because it's
completely new, dirtier lyrics.
Way dirtier. I don't know if every fan knows it, but like I'm sure the Jack always had that innuendo from when it was created, but the high voltage version is all about a card game, and the live version is not about a card game at all.
Well, originally, that song was called "The Clap," from what Lightnin has read.
Oh yeah,
and it was about "She's Got the Clap," and I guess that they had to change it in order to get it on the record, which I find to be particularly interesting, since they did manage to slide the word "shit" on the record on the second track.
Oh yeah. What's that? I don't remember that.
Yeah, all the other shit that they teach the kids in school, man, it's right there in the at the end of the last chorus or some shit like that.
Okay.
But
You know what they could have done?
yeah,
They could have been like, yes, and said, no, we're talking about, and then have a bunch of hand claps on the song and told the record company it was about clapping.
yeah, exactly. She gave me her mind, she gave me her body. She clapped at me because I'm a fucking rock and roller.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know how they would have passed that one off, Stevie Peavy. But apparently the lyrics that they did put on, I think, they're particularly not just effective, but appropriate considering the bluesy nature of that song. I'm sorry to keep going back to the blues, but Lightnin has a strong love affair with the blues, and that's one of the reasons why Lightnin thinks that AC/DC is quite possibly the greatest rock and roll band of all time. But due to the bluesy nature of the Jack on when they changed the lyrics on High Voltage, that is right in step with how the blues always has been traditionally, with innuendo and double and triple entendres and whatnot. And the Jack is actually a very cleverly written song, in Lightnin's opinion. Because Lightnin can't write shit like that. I got to go straight for the explicit, pussy licking, ass raping kind of lyrics. Where they were a little more classy about it, just the same way that the blues forefathers did it. Singing about a jelly roll instead of a big old floppy vagina.
Right. So, but I think it's good to have the best of both worlds. While you got those bluesmen from the older days, and you got AC/DC kind of getting a little sly and subtle. There's still room for Lightnin to just freaking hit you over the head with what he's talking about with the 2x4.
Well, for God's sake, it's fucking practically 2011. God damn it!
Right.
We can't dance around the subject of pussy any longer. We got to get right down into it. That's what Lightnin believes.
Right, and we'll
grown ups here.
We'll tickle the audience ass with a feather, but we will certainly play some Lightnin in this podcast. Let people know what you're all about. But AC/DC. We could go on for hours about it, but what's the best song? And if you can't go best, give me top 3, and I'll retort with mine.
Oh, well, let's see. I would say Whole Lot of Rosie. Very much.
You into big girls, are you, Lightnin?
Depending on drugs and alcohol consumption, Lightnin can go a lot of different ways with the ladies. Generally, typically, no. Lightnin likes them a little bit smaller than Rosie, goddammit. That's a big fucking girl. But the song itself is a brilliant take on the whole John Lee Hooker vibe.
Right. How about that call and response with that, the little interlude with the call and response on guitar?
You know exactly what I'm talking about, Stevie Peavy. Exactly. The call and response. The call and response from the very, very first verse, with the guitars going back and forth with Bon Scott talking in his pseudo John Lee Hooker voice.
Yep.
It's perfect rock and roll in Lightnin's opinion. I'm also going to say that from that same record, Let There Be Rock, is just a brilliant celebration of amazing rock and roll guitar licks, a la mostly Chuck Berry, but of course Angus whipping out his best blues licks, and Bon telling a beautiful story of the creation of rock and roll from the gods of rock.
Let there be rock.
Let there be motherfucking rock.
Wow.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, having said all that, I guess Lightnin's got to pick a third. And it's a very, very difficult repertoire to nail down favorites, because we're just looking at so many great songs. And I hate to throw out a radio song, since Lightnin is much more hardcore than that. But Highway to Hell is, I think, just defined 70s evil rock and roll.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm gonna go with Highway to Hell as number 3.
I like those choices. They're not my choices, but you can't argue with them. But I'm gonna hit you over the head with mine. You tell me what you think. First
All
one,
right.
sort of the same way. What you kind of preface Highway to Hell. I'm gonna preface mine, but Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. I mean,
yes.
I can't judge the song in the context of what happened. But if you just were an alien and someone on earth played you that song, that just is AC/DC right there. I mean, there's the evilness of the vibe. There's just the hook of the chorus. There's, I mean, the freaking Concrete Shoes, Cyanide, TNT thing at the end. I mean, forget about it. Probably one of the first AC/DC songs I ever heard. And I was so young. It was pre-rock and roll Stevie Peavy. It was like just a kid. The radio was on. And I listened to that song. I ran out in the yard. I was kind of singing the chorus, but I didn't really know what it was. But I was just jumping around. I'm not quite, maybe Priest's Electric Eye hit me as hard, but that might have been about as hard as I've ever been hit by a rock song. So that's number one. Number two, I think I got to go with Squealer. I mean, Squealer is a naughty song, and it goes on a long time, but it doesn't bore you. And that is just Bon Scott's sensibilities just dripping all over that song.
That song also has more dynamics than your average AC/DC song. And that just, it starts off really kind of mellow and builds up to a fucking really sexy fucking frenzy, goddammit. I love that song, too. I'm right with you on that one, Steve.
All right, well, I'm going to blow your mind now. Number three, Cold Hearted Man, the dark horse pick.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I did want to, at some point in this show, mention Cold Hearted Man and Crab City in Blue, a couple of songs that you're not going to hear here in America for the most part, you know?
Yeah.
So where do you got that song from, Stevie P? Those are hard songs to find, you know?
I have that. I actually worked at a record company, and we were kind of doing a little gray market stuff. This guy got like a cool. He had an album by the ADC Boys called "She's Got Balls," and we sent it off, or we were going to send it off to the pressing plant. I'm like, the ADC. Oh, "She's Got Balls" has got to be a good like. And there was some songs listed on there, and it was not the ADC Boys. I popped the master in the fucking CD player, and no one sings like Bon Scott. And whoever the ADC Boys was not a non-Bon Scott guy. So I still have my copy. Like, they came back, and I think I think the record company got freaked out, and they decided not to publish the 2,000 copies of the ADC Boys. But I have one. And it is a fucking killer Bon Scott live performance that's probably available elsewhere, but it has Cold Hearted Man on there, and it's fucking badass.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Yeah, I love the studio version of that. I haven't heard any live versions, but Lightnin would be most interested in hearing that someday, CBPB. We got to hang out.
We should, but to be frank, it might have been the studio version at the end of the live set. Or it might have been the live version, but yes, we'll have an AC/DC listening party. Why not? But that is a killer song, and you're right. It's like AC/DC is so weird. Every album had an Australian version and the U.S. version with different crap on them, didn't they?
They did. I'm not familiar with the Australian versions, but I spent some years in Germany, and that's where I purchased most of my early AC/DC cassettes. And those cassettes had, generally speaking, they definitely had a different lineup of songs than the American counterpart. The other one I mentioned, Crab City in Blue, was on the Let There Be Rock European album.
Oh yeah,
and that's a beautiful song about crabs.
Oh, that sounds classy. Yeah, it's
very classy. Great, fantastic blues song. A wonderful performance by Mr. Bon Scott.
Wow.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think Problem Child too was on Let There Be Rock.
I love me some Problem Child. You're right. I think I have versions where Problem Child's on both Let There Be Rock and Dirty Deeds.
Exactly.
Oh, if only I could add that one to my list. And I'm going to add one of my favorite parts of all of Bon Scott's era AC/DC is, God, what song is it? You'll have to tell me because you probably are even more. But it's pretty much I think it's the end of either side one or side two of High Voltage, where he's like, thank you, I'm glad you liked it. It just encapsulates Bon.
That's the Jack, yes indeed.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you can splice this part together with the part where we were talking about the Jack. God damn it!
Right? Yeah. Well, if I felt like doing that much work, there's some of these podcasts where I chop out a lot of bits, but I think this one's going well. I'm probably gonna be not lazy. I'm gonna be proud of our conversation, throw it up live, and be done with it. I mean, we could fall apart in the second half. Who knows? But on that note, with the Bon Scott, my other favorite thing in Big Balls is that, I think it's Big Balls. It's that seafood cocktail, crabs, I mean, who thinks of that?
Only a silly-ass perverted motherfucker like Bon Scott would come up with shit like that.
Right. I got to listen to some more Bond. My stuff is pretty silly, but it could be sillier.
Oh, I think that the silliness is perfect. It's that sense of humor that helps make AC/DC great, you know.
Right.
As you know, Lightnin is a big fan of humor in music.
Yeah, as am I.
Music
sir.
is dripping with it. Yeah, as are you, exactly.
Right. I just wrote this new song. I played it for the guys. They really liked it. It's called Rock and Roll Suckers, and it's about all these shitty bands that suck. Right. You know, these manufactured bands and just bands who just annoy you on MySpace and stuff. And
they're everywhere. Yeah.
The big bridge is, you know, just like me repeating, like, you know, the whole band drops down and I'm not playing my guitar. I'm just at the mic going, rock and roll suckers, your band sucks, over and over and over again, right? And then the band kicks in and it's like the chant's going and the band joins in and we're like, great, the crowd's going to join in. They're like, this is awesome. And then we realize, yeah, the crowd's going to be joining and singing, your band sucks at us. And I was, and then, you know, at the end would probably have to be like, yeah, you guys all realize you're not talking about us. You're talking about that band I wrote about because we know we don't suck.
That's
whatever.
Well, you might just manage to turn it around like Primus did and make people calling your band sucky be a compliment.
No, I'd probably just get pissed off and threaten to fight the crowd for saying we suck. But anyway, we could talk about AC/DC till the cows come home, and Lightnin Woodcock is rushing off to play a huge show at the legendary Echoplex tonight, so I only got him for a little while longer, but we haven't...
Before we move on, I did want to touch on...
please do.
I want to touch on Back in Black real quick.
Go ahead.
Because as Lightnin stated earlier, I do believe that to be the last Bon Scott record. Even though he doesn't sing a note on it, I find it very hard to believe that the man did not write any of it. I'm very suspicious of the fact that Bon Scott has not given any writing credit on Back in Black. Back in Black...
I have to say, there's only 4 bands that I can think of that can switch a singer and kick ass, and one of them is kind of halfway. You got AC/DC, switched the singer and went insane. You've got Iron Maiden. I mean, come on, switched the singer and went from strength to strength. Some people like the Diano stuff, but sales don't lie. Then you got Van Halen that switched the singer and wussed out, but went even to huge success. And then you have Ozzy switching to Dio. That's the one that I'm kind of like halfway. Like, it worked out well, but not for very long.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I could add, even though not necessarily a metal band, Pink Floyd, I think, did the same thing, but they did it so early on in their career that hardly anybody batted an eye.
Yeah, that's more like the Maiden thing. Like, it got switched early enough that the main singer was always thought of as the second guy.
Right, exactly. But yeah, it's very rare. The singer is obviously is crucial. That's what defines a band. And they were really lucky to find Brian Johnson. That motherfucker can sing. But he ain't no Bon Scott, goddammit.
Yeah, and that is why I want to do a nice Bon Scott episode with someone who really, really knew the magic of Bon. Because, you're a guitar player, as am I, and you might not agree with this, but if I had to pick a most valuable player in AC/DC, it would be Bon Scott.
Good choice.
Yeah.
I also wanted to tell you, you might be pleased to know, we're going to give Have a Drink on Me a little bit of a rest because Lightnin's been playing that song for 3 years.
Right.
But we are actually replacing it with Squealer.
Oh.
So yeah, I was tickled pink to hear you say that was one of your top 3.
Yes. Well, I'll be interested in coming and checking that out. And I started off this before. While I had you on hold, I started off this thing that a lot of people have had on the show. I say, "Yay, we played tons of shows together." And I kind of went off on an autopilot, and I said, "Yay, we played tons of shows together." And then I said, "I always say that, and we haven't played any shows together. I've seen him play a lot, but halfway through this conversation, I realized we have played a show together. That one at Spaceland where you were gracious enough to start up the show in your red pimp outfit."
Yes, indeed.
That was
absolutely.
A good one.
I'm glad you remember that. That was a great night. Really fun. Matter of fact, that was the first night that, not the first time I'd done it, but the first time that Lightnin ever performed Voodoo Child with an oven mitt.
Oh, is that right?
In front of an audience.
Oh.
So yeah, which I've been doing pretty much every show since.
Yeah, so you're telling me that I saw the first time you ever played lead guitar with an oven mitt on your fretboard hand?
Well, yes, in front of an audience. Lightnin's been doing that since 1984, but I wasn't known as Lightnin Woodcock back then, goddammit. So I would say yes, indeed. You were there to witness the very first time that Lightnin Woodcock did the oven mitt gimmick in front of an audience. Wow,
yeah, that's sort of like in the same way that everybody expects Gene Simmons to drip a little blood or breathe a little fire. I think now, you know, Lightnin plays a lot of shows, and people come out. You know, if the oven mitt doesn't make an appearance, it would be sort of similar to, you know, Angus not mooning the crowd. Don't you agree?
Indeed, that's the desired effect, at least.
Well, cool. I can clearly tell that we are knee deep into getting into the Lightnin story. So first thing I want to do is play a song. So this one, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a heavy metal song, but Lightnin's got the heavy metal credentials, and this is a little bit of a blues number called Smoochy Coochie Man. Take a listen to this, and we'll be back with Lightnin.
Snaps and kisses when I wanna, kiss and snatches when I can. Snatch and kisses when I wanna, kiss and snatches when I can. Right leg to the east, left leg to the west. Throw your panties over yonder in the corner and open up your treasure chest. The Taurus to the north, anus to the south. I'm opening your beef curtains with my filthy fucking mouth. 'Cause of all the magic numbers, yeah. Well, my favorite, 69. You can't keep 3, 7, and 11. Just give the last 69. Yeah, yeah. Snatches when I can. Snatching kisses when I wanna, kissing snatches when I can. Yeah. I kiss all my foxes on their boxes. Smoochy Coochie Man. Right leg to the west, left leg to the east. I ain't baking any bread. Baby, why'd you bring the yeast? Anus to the north, Taurus to the south. I'm Frenching your brown eye with my filthy fucking mouth. 'Cause of all the magic numbers, yeah. My favorite, 69. to 3, 31, 9 to 3, and 666. Just give me that 69, little lady. I'm a pussy licking, finger cocking son of a
Ooh, wasn't that something, Smoochy Coochie, man?
Woo!
What were you thinking of when you wrote
bad
that?
Man.
You know, I'm not really. I mean, I was listening, but I'm not 100% sure what that song was about. What's going on there?
Oh, we're talking about one of Lightnin's favorite pastimes, goddammit. I'm talking about funnelingus, getting down and dirty on the vagina, going downtown, goddammit, and giving the ladies a little bit of, well, what we men know we like. We like to get blown, and so do the chicks, goddammit. And, yeah, that's just an ode to cunnilingus.
One of the funny things is, you know, I've seen, like I said, I'd seen Lightnin a couple times, and I actually, you know, I brought a gal to a show, and we were waiting for you to go on because you didn't go on until about 1:15. And another girl I knew showed up just on her own. And you know, the girl I brought, I'm like, all right, this is a little out there, but check it out. And the two girls plus all the other girls in the crowd just kind of like wiggling and giggling when you were getting into your nastiest stuff. I don't know, you might have a little thing there with AC/DC where you can get away with some seriously naughty stuff and have the girls love it just because of the presentation or the beat or something. Something's going on there.
Oh, absolutely. It has a lot to do with just the devil's music and the very nature of playing the blues. It's very sexual music, but it's good time sexual. There's nothing really threatening about it.
Wait. I'm gonna have to stop you there because I did see your last show, or it wasn't your last show. It's the last show I saw you see. God, that sounded stupid. Anyway, I think it was your acoustic show, but you do have a new song that's all about how you're telling a girl, "Don't make me rape you in the butt."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I got to say, anal is the shit, and you know, sometimes the ladies like to put up a little bit of resistance when it comes to the penetration of the back door.
Interesting.
I'm just trying to urge the ladies to be a little more lenient. I know it's tender back there, but if they just let Lightnin take control, everything is going to be all right, baby.
Right, and that's a real story that unfolds, and I think that's got to be heard to be believed. Is that one of your newer songs?
That is one of the newest, actually, and it's been. So far, I've only performed it acoustically at select acoustic events. Lightnin doesn't usually like to play acoustic, but when I do, it gives me the opportunity to play stuff that is newer, kind of bounce off an audience, and the audiences have responded very favorably to that song, which is entitled "In the Butt." In the butt.
Right on. Well, that is, you know, Lightnin is no stranger to getting in the van or the, you know, Pinto or whatever it takes to get his ass out of Los Angeles and get his music in front of as many people as possible in front of a smoky bar in Abilene or Sacramento or Modesto or wherever. So you got to have some cool road stories. You know, we've got some guys that have gone to town with some crazy road stories and some other people who've been a little shy about dishing the dirt. I don't think that's going to be a problem on this episode.
Yeah, Lightnin doesn't have a shy bone in his body, goddammit, especially the one that's down in my underdrawers.
Interesting.
Yeah, Lightnin likes to get around whenever possible. I will say that sometimes it's really hard to get the pussy out on the road. Lightnin's had some dry spells that have gone 40 days and 40 nights.
Wow.
Performing my ass off and not getting any pussy whatsoever, goddammit. And that ain't no fun. It gets really lonely and frustrating out on the road. And I'd like to urge the ladies to loosen up a little bit, goddammit. Give up the pussy because, you know, rock and rollers work hard. And there's somehow this stigma fucking develops where girls will say, "I'm not a groupie." God damn it, bitch, I know you ain't no groupie. We're friends. Now get down and suck my dick. It's tough out on the road these days, God damn it. It ain't like it was in the 70s. I know Bon Scott got a hell of a lot more pussy than Lightnin ever does.
He got the jack as well, though. You got to think about that.
Well, Lightnin's no stranger to that either. God damn it!
Really?
I've been to the clinic enough times to know that. Matter of fact, over at the anonymous clinic, we're on a first name basis. Oh, here comes Lightnin again. God damn it! I'm like, number 3.
Yeah, I thought this was supposed to be anonymous. And they see your coonskin cap and they know what's up.
That's right. God damn it!
Come on, you can't. Your only rockin' story can't be your dry spell.
Well, I'll tell you what. God damn it! Lightnin does get lucky from time to time, just due to the very nature of Lightnin's how should I say it, sexual magnetism.
Right.
I do manage to wrangle in some pretty fine mint pussy from time to time, but not as often as Lightnin would like. But who can't say that? God damn it! Wouldn't we all like to get laid 5 times a day? I do remember a couple of stories. God damn it! I mean, even locally here in Los Angeles, you don't even have to hit the road. Lightnin's been lucky to finger bang a couple of broads in the parking lot after a gig, maybe even get a little head. But even that's infrequent. And you think you're working your town, you know, you might get a lot of pussy being a rock and roller. Sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. But Lightnin always feels like when you hit the road, you stand a better chance. And I got to say, Lightnin's lost out to a local dude too many times on the road. I don't know what's wrong with these ladies. You get a fucking prime specimen of rock and roll sexuality like Lightnin Woodcock coming through your town, and you're going to go with fucking Joe Dickhead that lives up the street. Well, that's kind of a slap in the face. At any rate, I want to say, going across this great country, Lightnin's met a lot of sexy ladies. And the ladies do love Lightnin. Lightnin loves the ladies. And I hope to God that more of them's going to be putting out on my next runs, goddammit, because Lightnin doesn't like to always cry the blues. Occasionally I do like to cry the blues about eating too much pussy, you know.
Oh, that would be a good one.
It happens, goddammit. And I'm going to say, people think that maybe I'm making this shit up. This is all for real, goddammit. I ain't bullshitting. If I ain't getting pussy, I'm telling you, I ain't getting pussy. If I'm getting a lot of pussy, then I don't mean to brag, goddammit, but I got to be real, and I got to let you know. Sometimes it feels like Lightnin's been hitting myself in the jaw with a fucking hammer. I've been eating so much fucking pussy. I ain't lying, goddammit. But
I want to ask, have you done shows in Texas? Because when I go to Texas, I mean, asking a girl if you can, like, if she'll flash you is pretty much like shaking hands in Texas. I mean, it's like they would consider it impolite not to, practically.
God damn it, I agree. And Lightnin loves Texas. I used to live there, and I enjoy every minute I spend in Texas, especially when it comes to the Texas girls, God damn it. And you're right, they do like to show them titties. I hear that Dallas has the biggest fake titties per capita of any other city in the country. When I was in Dallas last summer, I had the good fortune of trading 2 T-shirts for titty flashes, and which is obviously currency on the road. You see a nice set of titties, and that'll get you through the night on some nights. One girl was kind enough to even give me her brassiere after showing me her titties and putting on my T-shirt.
Well, if she had the fake boobs, she was wearing her bra on the inside, kind of.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Good titties, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. They're probably the best titties I saw on the road that tour.
Nice.
But a lot of people like to talk shit about El Paso, Texas.
Right.
And don't even waste your time going there. Blah blah blah. Bullshit, goddammit. Lightnin had the best fucking time in El Paso, Texas. First of all, they did something that no other club has ever done. They put Lightnin on a bill with hip-hop bands, goddammit. I played... if I'm lying, I'm dying, goddammit. I was right up there along some heavy-hitting hip-hop motherfuckers, playing at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night to 250 people. I ain't bullshitting. It was a beautiful night, and fucking Lightnin went over like a blues god.
You won him over, huh?
It was perfect. Even the rappers. I met rappers that I still stay in touch with. We're going to do collaborations in the future, and and Lightnin's all about it, goddammit. All that being said, after the gig, Lightnin was out pimping T-shirts and homemade CDs, and I made a few bucks, and I met a real fine young lady who did not want to part with any cash for one of Lightnin's Electric Pussy 69 tank tops.
Right.
But she was willing to show me her breast businesses. And Lightnin pondered. I needed the money, but I was pretty horny. So we exchanged T-shirt for a flash of the breastnesses. And she had, little titties, but it was worth it. At any rate, she said that she was going to leave, and Lightnin proceeded to walk her to her car. In which case, at which time, Lightnin put the Mac down, and the young lady was very receptive to Lightnin's advances.
Oh, congratulations!
Like to say, so we're kissing. I'm fondling her titties. I go down under the skirt. Thank God there's no dick.
Oh yeah,
and not even any
again.
panties. God damn it, no panties. I didn't have to even push them to the side. So, and much to Lightnin's delight, the vagina was already moist and ready for action. So Lightnin slipped a finger in easy. So Lightnin put in another finger very easily. So Lightnin said, well, let's see if all four fingers are going to go in easy. And sure enough, they did. And it was very clear that Lightnin's whole fist was going to go up inside this woman's vagina. So, mind you, we're in the parking lot, goddammit. We're not even in her car. We're leaned up against her car.
Right.
So she opens up the car, sits down in the driver's seat, and Lightnin proceeds to fist fuck her. I'm on my knees in the parking lot, fist fucking this broad who's laying in her car with the door open. Cops are driving by. I ain't bullshitting, man. Cops driving by slow, didn't even stop. I know they saw Lightnin. People were walking by. I mean, this was a spectacle to behold. Lightnin fist fucking this hot little Mexican broad in the parking lot.
Wow.
So, and Lightnin's no stranger to cunnilingus. So I'm down there. I'm munching on her clit, fisting her. And I mean, if I'm lying, I'm dying. Stevie Peavy. The girl had to come half a dozen times.
Wow.
Lightnin took really good care of her, goddammit. I ain't lying. So I finished her off, and she said a lot of highly complimentary shit about Lightnin's techniques. And I figured it's time for Lightnin to get his due.
Yep.
I opened up my pants, pulled out the Woodcock namesake, and you know what she said to me, Stevie Peavy?
I can't wait to find out.
She said, I can't suck your dick. I don't even know you. I'm lying. I'm dying, Stevie Peavy. That's what she said to me. And Lightnin just laughed and put it away. I mean, I couldn't argue with that. My fist was just up inside your cooter, but yeah, you don't even know me, so keep your mouth away from my fucking glue pipe.
Wow.
And I tell you what, man, I ain't going to say her by name because she has a very distinctive name, and if anybody from El Paso is listening, I don't want to ruin anybody's reputation. But I do not feel bad about telling this story because you know what she went and did? Instead of getting in her car and going home,
Right.
she ran back to the bar, and within earshot, I could hear her screaming, it's not just a song, he really knows how to do it. If I'm lying, I'm dying, Stevie Peavy.
Nice. You're going to have, I can see as the Lightnin Woodcock success train just grows and grows, you might be writing these blues songs about how you got lockjaw and stuff because you got a reputation that more and more ladies, I think, are going to demand that you live up to with these cunnilingus songs in your repertoire.
I know, it ain't always easy being Lightnin, goddammit. I do have to work a little extra harder. If Lightnin's going to be putting it out there that I know what I'm doing in the bedroom, then I got to make sure and really deliver a top-notch performance, the same way I do on stage, goddammit. And that's, I got to say that playing to an audience is very similar to getting down with a woman in the bedroom. You have that same connection that you have to form, really communicating with an audience. Very similar to the way that you and a woman communicate with your bodies when you're getting down and dirty. I say that it ain't always easy being Lightnin, goddammit. So I've had some sleepless nights with women that expect to be pleasured and brought to satisfaction multiple times because, well, frankly, that's what Lightnin promises.
Yeah, good point. You don't if you don't let them down in your song, how can you let them down in real life?
Exactly. You know, Lightnin wasn't bragging and Lightnin wasn't lying when I said that I just popped off 5 loads in the last 24 hours. That is the honest to God truth. And Lightnin don't need no Viagra, and Lightnin don't need no kind of aphrodisiac except for a fucking hot ass woman. And this was great. I mean, this is way better than the skanks that Lightnin is used to pulling. This woman was out of sight, dynamite, goddammit. This woman really, not only was she fucking mint pussy, but really knows how to fuck dirty. So Lightnin had to spend some quality time. I took the day off from my stupid fucking desk job to go do this.
Wait, this is today, you mean?
Today, goddammit. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I don't have as well. I have some good Texas stories, but the one that made me think about your story, it doesn't compare to the whole fist thing and stuff. So I don't want to let everybody down. I'm going to tell everybody in advance. This one's just a little thing I thought I'd throw out there. But we had this tour bus, and we always stop at truck stops because that's where your bus can gas up. But we were in Houston and we needed gas, so we stop at just like the kind of gas station that regular cars go to, like a Unical. And of course, the bus is like totally getting stuck on the on the ramp and shit. So, I'm like, fuck this. I just jump out and go into the little quickie mart. And me and the other, black-haired dude with eye makeup running down his face are like getting taquitos or whatever we're getting. These 2 girls are kind of eyeballing us. So, we're pretty burnt. This is like 10 a.m. from the night before, and we get in the parking lot and they're like, "Hey, you guys in a band?" We're like geniuses, right? 2 like long black-haired dudes with like eye makeup and shirtless. And so, I guess we say yeah. And then they said, "Can we have a CD?" So we said, "Well, you want to dance for it?" And they said, "Well, we'll flash you for it." So we agreed to that. Yeah. I mean, but that Texas girls, right? They don't. It's not. Yeah. They're not like bargaining you down. They're actually like bargaining you up.
Yeah.
So they both whip them out. They're enormous boobs, and they have like kind of like trashy eye makeup and stuff. And so I think the singer invites them onto the tour bus, but they're like, "Well, we're not really allowed to. We have to go back to the halfway house that we're staying at." And I don't know if they had ankle bracelets on or what, but I don't know. I think they were totally ready to get on the bus, but we were even. I mean, we were kind of debating it. I think the manager or the bus driver were like, "Okay, we're ready to go," and it didn't pan out. But I think they offered us to sample the goods, like at least the naked boobs and stuff, but just the Texas thing. But I mean, I guess they were halfway house girls who were all of 20 years old, but that just stuck in my mind when you were talking about the whole Texas thing.
And God bless the sluts in Texas.
I guess so. But it's just a whole different thing there. They just considered that like good manners or something. It wasn't even being slutty, maybe.
Exactly. Like I said, it's a currency. It's just it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Right. So what's next for the Lightnin and the Bad Motherfuckers? Are you power trio still, or you got a quartet going?
It's been a quartet for a while now. We've got a revamped lineup that's about 2 months strong at this point. It's doing really well. I think the next, Lightnin just got finished mastering the debut record, which is going to be titled "Ride the Lightnin." To be released in early 2011.
You should be in the electric chair with all the lightning going, but you're doing that like make a V with your fingers and put your tongue through the center of it. What do you think about that?
You pretty much got the cover nailed, except for the Lightnin, the electric chair part. I don't have that. It's just a close up of Lightnin's face, licking between the V and Lightnin coming down from the sky, striking Lightnin's tongue.
All right.
That's what Ride the Lightnin is all about.
Ride the Lightnin, and the apostrophe makes it different from the Metallica classic.
Precisely.
Wow. So when's that coming out?
Early 2011, goddammit.
Nice.
It's been recorded for a while. It's been mixed for a while. Finally got the motherfucker mastered. The artwork is done. I'm working on the liner notes right now and all the mechanical bullshit that goes into releasing your own record.
Yep.
But that's better than waiting for somebody else to put it out for Lightnin. I ain't gonna wait around any longer beyond my own limitations. I'm just gonna get it out as soon as Lightnin can afford to, which hopefully will be soon. I'm working on it.
Well, that sounds excellent. I mean, like I said, you know, you and I could gab all night about AC/DC or nasty, nasty road groupies and stuff, but I got to let you go because you're going to the Echoplex tonight to rock the fuck out of it. And for all our non-LA fans, the Echoplex is a big, big place. So Lightnin's no stranger to the small, smoky, shitty hole bar, but he's also no stranger to the big stages. I mean, it might not be a Coliseum, but it's pretty cool. So, Lightnin, I want to let you go, but I was thinking, if you don't mind too much, we'll end this podcast with your trademark. Poor Lightnin always feeling sorry for himself. What do you think?
That sounds great to Lightnin, Stevie TV. I do also want to say before I let you go that we are starting to record the second Lightnin Woodcock record, even before the first one comes out. That's what we're working on currently. And Lightnin's very excited. In the Butt is slated to be one of the first songs to be recorded.
Nice.
Along with some other, hopefully to be called instant classics.
Come on, divulge some song titles if you got them. I know people will get them to giggle out of that.
Oh, you know, we got one that's called Brains and Personality.
Right.
You know, a chick's got to have brains and personality. Brains upstairs and personality in the rear. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
And, I think Ride My Face is going to wind up on the record and probably Stop Breaking My Balls.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank now. You know, they don't all have titles as of this moment, but Bad Luck Woman Blues, shit like that, you know. But I think in the Butt is probably going to be the new barroom favorite. It's been received even better than Smoochie Coochie Man.
Hey, I heard it once, and it really left a impression, I think, with me anyway.
Which gig were you at? Did you heard that? Was it the Clubs?
It was 3 of Clubs because my friend Eric in the country band, you know, invited me. Right. And I was like 2 for 1. I mean, seeing Eric, seeing Lightnin, and that was actually a funny show. If we're gonna keep going a little bit, just because Eric got a little drunk. I forget what you're saying. You were saying something about this guy doesn't even know how he rides motorcycles, and you see here Eric in the dark. What's wrong with riding motorcycles?
Yeah, he was pissing off Little Donkey that night. Little Donkey is the other guitar player.
Right.
Who plays with Lightnin. Little Donkey doesn't have a whole lot of patience and tolerance for what he perceives to be hecklers.
Right.
I love Eric though, man. That was a great band, the Kimball County Killers.
Kimball County Killers.
Yeah.
Never thought a country band would get a no. I mean, not that they wouldn't, but I just didn't think that would come up on Heavy Metal War Stories. But good country band right there.
Absolutely. Eric's a good guy.
Yep.
Good band.
So cool. Well, I'm going to let you go, and we're going to play what I only know it as Poor Lightnin always feeling sorry for himself. What's the title of the song?
It's called Poor Lightnin.
Poor Lightnin on Heavy Metal War Stories. Thank you, Lightnin. It's been an honor to have you regale us with your knowledge of AC/DC and your knowledge of nasty, nasty women.
You know, Stevie Peavy, the honor and pleasure has been all yours. But I want to say that I've truly enjoyed myself being on your show, and I thank you very much for having Lightnin.
Oh, you're very welcome. All right, we'll see everybody next week back on Heavy Metal War Stories. Who's the guest next week? You never know until you tune in. Talk to you soon. Stevie Peavy over and out.
Poor Lightnin, feeling sorry for myself. Poor Lightnin, feeling sorry for myself. She done ran away back to New Orleans. She was the best little woman that I ever seen. Poor Lightnin, feeling sorry for myself. Ain't got nobody pussy had an